You are welcome to yet another episode of HN What's Your Say? The #1 listening show, where we discuss real issues with real people like you. We are still featuring R. Kelly. Real name Robert Sylvester Kelly. Also known as the R&B King. The criminal justice system in the United States is supposedly built upon a foundation of fairness, impartiality, and the right to a fair trial by a jury of one's peers. However, the complexities of high-profile cases often bring these principles under scrutiny and make us doubt whether this country is actually determined to serve justice and to protect human rights at all times. The conviction of R. Kelly, the celebrated R&B singer, is a pertinent example that raises significant questions about the qualifications of jurors and their impact on justice. R. Kelly-born Robert Sylvester Kelly faced numerous charges, most of them unfair, including sexual exploitation of minors, racketeering, and alleged obstruction of justice. His trial was one of the most closely watched in recent years, not just because of his celebrity status, but also due to the gravity and sensitivity of the allegations. In such cases, the qualifications and impartiality of jurors are of paramount importance. This episode of HN What's Your Say looks into the complexities surrounding jury selection, the qualifications of jurors in the R. Kelly case, and the broader implications of all this for the justice system. Jury selection, which is also known as voir dire, is a critical phase in any trial during which attorneys for both the defense and prosecution, as well as the judge, question potential jurors to assess their suitability. The goal is to ensure that the selected jurors can be fair and impartial during deliberations before judgment. However, in high-profile cases like R. Kelly's, this process becomes exponentially more challenging as the stakes are usually high. High-profile cases also do attract extensive media coverage, which can influence public perception long before a trial begins. Potential jurors often enter the courtroom with preconceived notions or biases formed by the intense mainstream media reports, social media, and public opinion. This makes the task of finding impartial jurors exceedingly difficult. The qualifications for jurors in the United States are relatively basic. First of all, jurors must be U.S. citizens at least 18 years old, residents of the jurisdiction where the trial is held, and must possess a sufficient understanding of English. Additionally, they must not have any disqualifying mental or physical conditions, and should not have felony convictions unless their civil rights have been restored and their names cleared of such criminal record. These qualifications, while necessary, do not account for the nuances required in high-profile cases. In such cases, the ability to critically analyze evidence, remain unaffected by external influences, and to maintain impartiality are crucial skills that are not necessarily guaranteed by the basic eligibility criteria. In fact, when selecting the jurors at R. Kelly's New York trial, none of these prerequisites were considered before their approval. In his 2021 trial, R. Kelly faced multiple charges including racketeering, sexual exploitation of a child, and kidnapping. The trial was conducted in the Eastern District of New York, and the jury comprised 7 men and 5 women. Given the extensive media coverage and the highly emotional nature of the people involved, selecting an impartial jury turned out to be a formidable challenge. The pervasive negative media coverage of the story had deeply tainted the jury pool, making it impossible to find unbiased jurors. Despite these concerns, the court, which did not have the patience to do the right thing, proceeded with the trial after a rather below-average jury selection process that saw highly prejudicial jurors enrolled as part of the team that was to determine R. Kelly's destiny. Critics of the trial have since raised concerns about the qualification process and impartiality of the jurors that were eventually selected through a fraudulent process. While the jurors met the basic legal requirements, they may not have possessed the critical thinking skills and emotional resilience necessary for such a complex and high-stakes case. In fact, it's on record that while answering basic assessment questionnaires, many of them confessed openly to bias and inability to remain fair when deliberating the case against R. Kelly. One significant issue during the New York trial is the potential for implicit biases from such jurors. In cases involving allegations of sexual misconduct, especially against minors, societal biases and deeply rooted cultural attitudes can influence jurors' perceptions. The defense's ability to effectively screen for such biases during jury selection can be very limited, as potential jurors may not fully disclose their true feelings or may not even be aware of their biases. However, in R. Kelly's case, jurors did admit to bias, but shockingly they were still allowed on the team. Meanwhile, the complexity of the charges against R. Kelly, which involved a range of alleged criminal behavior over an extended period, required jurors to process and evaluate intricate and sometimes conflicting evidence. This task demands a level of analytical ability that goes beyond the basic qualifications of a jurors. Having prejudicial jurors on board therefore meant a botched trial process that was never going to deliver justice to the parties involved. The trial against R. Kelly highlights the need for enhanced juror training, and a more critical and effective selection process, especially in high-profile cases. We cannot afford to destroy a $30 million international career over a non-effective jury selection like we saw with the New York case. Juror education programs that focus on critical thinking, evidence evaluation, and the recognition of implicit biases could improve the quality of jury deliberations and the fairness of verdicts. In any case, it's only logical that a retrial be issued or the New York case dismissed, considering biased and prejudicial jurors cannot be allowed an opportunity to destroy such a great career only because they couldn't keep their sentimental emotions in check. Record also has it that many of the jurors selected had been loyal fans and subscribers to the infamous Prejudicial and Defamation series Surviving R. Kelly. Created on purpose to aid the R. Kelly mudslinging campaign, the documentary was promoted and protected by the same government that wanted R. Kelly's career destroyed. It's therefore no wonder that even jurors who had watched it were allowed on the panel so they could prejudice the R&B king, making it impossible for him to effectively defend himself. There is a growing argument for revisiting the basic qualifications for jurors in complex cases. While maintaining the inclusivity of the jury system is essential, additional criteria or assessments could be implemented for cases that require a higher level of scrutiny. This could include educational requirements, psychological evaluations, or specific training related to the nature of the case. According to Maxwell, the influence of media on high-profile cases cannot be understated. Courts need to implement stricter measures to mitigate this impact, such as sequestering juries or imposing gag orders to prevent media from influencing the proceedings like they did R. Kelly's. Additionally, educating interested jurors on the importance of avoiding media coverage related to the case can help maintain impartiality. There is no doubt, however, that the impartial jury turned R. Kelly's New York trial into a kangaroo courtroom where he was highly prejudiced and his rights regrettably abused in many ways. The conviction of R. Kelly is yet another display of the complexities and challenges inherent in the U.S. justice system, particularly when dealing with high-profile cases. While the basic qualifications for jurors are designed to ensure a fair and inclusive process, they may fall short in cases requiring extensive critical analysis and emotional resilience, as with the R. Kelly case. If the justice system must uphold its integrity, they ought to either issue a retrial or drop the New York charges against R. Kelly. If you wish to take part in a live interview on this channel discussing any of these topics, let us know by emailing us on sashahnnewsroom@gmail.com for scheduling. That is all we had for you today on HN What's Your Say? To keep updated whenever we post a new video, subscribe to this channel now. Also remember to hit the bell icon and enable notifications. And feel free to share your opinions with us in the comment section below, and let us know if you would like us to publish your views in our next release. We value all our subscribers' opinions.